Well, Emma Walken from Edit House.
Well, Jenny McCarthy.
Oh, I love it. How are you?
Great.
I am so delighted that you're sitting here in front of me and we're just having the chats, because normally when I see you, we're working like,
Yes.
I don't know what.
That's true. And all the years we've worked, we've never gone out for a drink. And then, hey presto.
And hey presto.
2 weeks ago.
We were in Tankerstown House, getting very drunk.
Tankerstown House, doing some dodgy wedding dancing, mortified. But it was great crack.
Excuse me, I was fabulous. I don't know what you're talking about.
It was great crack. We had a good night. It was a good night.
And for all the time I know you, I have never ever asked you, how in the name of God did you get into wedding videography? Well, you're a wedding filmmaker.
Wedding
But
filmmaker.
How did you get into this game?
How long do you have? I mean,
Well, probably about 45 minutes.
it's a long story. Okay, to make a very long story short, I went to college in the States. I got a scholarship over there and I came home and I worked in a couple of production companies
Yes.
in front of the camera.
So you studied
behind the
film?
camera. I studied film.
Good woman.
I was actually over there working in a bar
Yeah.
and I knew the guy who was coaching the female soccer team and a guy that I knew was in the college. And did I want a scholarship to play football? Yeah, great. In you go.
Right.
Pick whatever you want to study. That was it.
Okay.
So I went from waitressing in New York to going to college,
Okay.
just like that.
Yeah.
So I could pick whatever I wanted. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't want to go to college when I left school.
Yes.
I worked in the bank for a bit and then I decided to head to the States. So college was not,
Your thing.
I didn't know what I wanted. I just didn't
Yeah.
know, hadn't a notion.
I think anyway, people are bloody well too young at that stage to know
Too
what they
young.
want to do.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I picked film and television,
Yes.
studied that. When I came home, I worked in a couple of production companies. Beyond the Whole Door.
Yeah.
I don't know, you probably remember
Yeah,
that back in the
I
day.
do, yeah. So I'm not
So
that old. I just remember it.
I remember it. And then I was in front of the camera, behind the camera. Then I was learning how to edit. And I was with another company and there was a big wedding happening in the Herbert Park Hotel.
Right.
The people who own it. They had got married in Portofino and were coming home to have a big black tie reception. And the guy I worked for said, you know what, I meant to go and film this. Will you go and film it?
When you
was
go and
like-
film a wedding? Oh, bleh.
He's like, okay, what do they want? Well, it's just a drinks reception, 7 to 12. Go and film it. They want something really fast and funky. They don't want any of this long,
Yeah.
2, 3
Drawn
hour,
out
out stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, don't worry, because I'll edit it. And I said, okay, I'll go and film it.
Cool.
Filmed it, came back, and then he was like, do you know what, will you just edit it for me? I don't want to edit it.
Okay.
And I said,
So you
okay.
did the whole thing.
He said, there's her sister's number, give her a shout. So I rang her and she's like, look, I just want 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Really upbeat, fast, cool.
Yeah.
I can't find anyone to do it. Will you do it? Yeah, did it. They loved it.
They loved it.
And she was like, God, we just couldn't find anyone to do it.
Wow.
So then I was like, maybe I'll
Could be something I could do.
maybe I'll get into this.
Yeah.
So I rang a very well-known photographer
Yeah.
who works in Dalkey.
Right.
Nice.
Okay. I know who you're talking about.
And I said,
Go on.
hiya. Because he had shot my sister's wedding.
Right.
I said, I'm looking to get into wedding videos, shooting wedding videos, because this is 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, okay, there's not a lot of females in this industry. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I know. And he said, do you have any show reels? And I said, I shot a half a wedding,
Yeah.
but here you go, it's 10 minutes. He said, drop it down to me. So I dropped it down to him. And he said, okay, look, there's a big wedding coming up and I'm going to throw your name in the hat.
Yes.
And I was like, all right. So there's 4 people going for it. And then he rang me about 2 weeks later and said, you got the gig.
Wow.
It's a 4-day wedding in Adare Manor.
Oh my
And I
God.
went, you are joking me. What? I've never shot a wedding. I had never shot a wedding.
Your first wedding.
My first wedding was a 4-day lavish
my
affair
God.
in Adare Manor. Tara Fay was starting out as well, and it was her gig.
Yeah.
And it went really well. Couple
Wow.
loved it. So my videos were 20 minutes and a little like trailer, 1 minute intro,
Yeah.
and then the usual speeches and ceremony after that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
that was it.
Oh my God. So a 4-day wedding in Adare Manor.
Yeah,
Who-
it was like...
Whose wedding was it, Emma? Are you allowed to tell us?
do you know what? I remember their names, Pat and Lydia. They lived in Chicago. I remember they were flying chandeliers over left, right and centre
What?
for Adare Manor
Yeah,
back
well,
then.
of course they were. Yeah. Yeah.
But that was it. And then
And it
I
just
said
went
to the
on.
photographer, look, it was really hard to advertise back then. There's no
Yeah.
websites. There was
Yeah,
no
yeah.
Instagram. There's no workshops. There was
Sure.
there was nothing. And I said, will you help me? And he said, yeah, you give me 15% of every wedding and I'll put you forward for
Are you
everything.
having a joke? Give me
No.
50. I'd say
Yeah.
stick it up your backside,
But that
pal.
was it. There was no other way of getting in.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that. Anyway, and did you give him 15% of everything?
Yeah,
You
I
big
did,
idiot. Okay.
But sure, that was it.
Right.
How else? There was no other way unless you advertised. You had to advertise on the
I'm actually
magazine.
going to start doing that now. Give us 15% and I would never do that.
Give us your money. Give us 15%. But it worked. Like he put me forward. I was very different to, there was a lot of older guys filming video back then. And they would even edit within their camera,
What?
That's what they used to do.
Oh, gosh.
So they'd set the camera up, and so when they press record, when the record stops, it would transition nicely into the next frame, and then the next frame, and then they'd go back and throw it on the timeline. There's the music. There you go. 2.5 hours. See you later.
My 2.5 hours. Blech.
Yeah.
Who wants to sit through a video for 2.5 hours?
Nobody.
No. And you saw that all that time ago.
Yeah. I mean, it's a long time. Like it's staying in this business for 20 years is a bit of a milestone.
Yeah, I'm in this business now 20 years too.
Yeah.
But I also think, I over the years for me, when I look at other people's work, and I don't know a huge amount of photographers, Emma, because you know yourself, you work for yourself. So you don't get to see videographers. I don't know if you do, but I don't get to see photographers. And I just don't, but I do look at work. I do look at everybody's work when I can.
It's so different now. It's one of the biggest changes I've probably, bar digital, obviously. But the biggest change in the 20 years is how it's gone from being so secretive.
Yes.
To being almost unbelievably open. People are sharing everything.
Yeah.
I'm talking to videographers, they're sharing their pricing, they're sharing their strategies.
They never did that. They'd never tell you what was going on or what Like years ago, I remember asking a photographer a very mundane question. I know it was a mundane question now, but at the time it was just about a light meter. And, there was one switch on it that I didn't know what it did.
Yeah.
And he said to me, if you have to ask me that, forget about being a photographer ever. And I'll never forget his name and everything. I'd never repeat it. But I remember thinking, now I think, what an asshole. Jesus. Like, how insecure are you, pal? Anyway, what I didn't like about that time was nobody would tell you what to do. So I am completely and utterly self-taught.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Like that Adare Manor wedding.
Oh, God.
My girlfriend came down with me and stood in the church. Like, the church was in the golf club, there's an old ruins.
Yes. Yeah.
So that was transformed into the church. And I remember saying to her, I can't shoot this wedding on my own. I need somebody to come down with me.
Just be with me.
And just have another camera just in case.
Yeah.
And it was I had never done it. But you know what? I can shoot. I knew I could shoot.
Yes.
And I knew I could edit. It was just a matter of, weddings are, it's not like another shoot. There's no, second.
There's no going back.
No.
You can't do it again.
No, there's no second chances.
Speaking of that, you can't do it again.
Yeah.
Talk to me about saving the wedding. What do you do?
Saving the wedding. What does that mean?
Well, you've recorded the wedding.
Yeah.
So how do you save it, and how many times do you save it, or do you only save it once?
So now it goes on to 3 external drives and it's up in the cloud.
So you have it 4 times?
Yeah.
Ah, here. Is that just in case 3 hard drives die?
Like now, the 3 hard drives are a bit overkill because it's up in the cloud. So it's always there. Like I have weddings now up in the cloud going back to 2017.
Right.
And the rest of my stuff is on external hard drives.
Okay.
Saved over there. Just in case.
Just in case, yeah.
Like you never know. Like that change from tape to digital used to freak me out.
Yeah.
Because you had something tangible on the cassette.
Yeah. And now you don't.
And then it was going to, you're like, well, what if something happens to the card? What if there wasn't dual record? It was just record to one card, and things happen.
Things happen, and they do. And I have heard them happening to other people. I'm a bit anal, and you probably know that I'm anal about kind of saving where I keep my cards. And
you have to be, though.
Oh, absolutely. I'd have a hard. So I have 2 cards in each camera. So if one card goes down, there's another card there.
Same.
So then talk me through then. So now we know where you've come from and how much experience you have. When somebody inquires with you, Emma, Do you like to talk to them face to face first of all? Do you do it all through email? How do you get a feel for the couple that you have?
It's mainly all through email. It used to be you would meet every client at the beginning. You'd literally go for coffee
An
and
hour
sit down.
for every client.
And they might book, they might not. So much time. Now it's emails. Because everything is on Instagram, they can see your work. They can see how you shoot, your type of style. And I can tell from where they're getting married or like, there's always a message within the email.
Yeah.
We're getting married here. We're looking for a really relaxed day. We just want it really laid back.
Yes.
We're not looking for, a production or, any staging, or they just want to have a party.
They tell you what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you kind of get a feel for that. And sometimes I will talk to a couple and say, are you sure we're the right company for you?
Yes.
Because if you're looking for that kind of slow, romantic, lots of voiceover, we're probably not the right company for you.
Okay.
And it's good to have that chat because there's so many
different styles.
Yeah. And it can be a bit of a minefield for the couple. If you're first getting, you've just got engaged and you're like bombarded by all these images from photographers, all these videos from videographers.
Yes.
It can be tough.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when it comes to your style, so you're not all of that. You're not all that contemporary posed classical stuff. You're more of a filmmaker, party maker, fast.
I'm more of just there to document everything. Like I always say to my couples, look, it's your day. They're not my memories.
Yes.
They're your memories.
Yes.
Okay. I am here to document your day and create a really fun video/film for you to look back on.
Yeah.
So as much as you kind of want to produce this really slick kind of production and looking at the camera and everything, I just want them to go and enjoy their day.
Yeah.
And forget about me.
Yeah.
And just be with their family, be with their friends.
And you zoom into it.
I'm just there to capture it.
Yeah.
Like just moving around.
I love that, Emma. I do love that because, and I think I said that to you before, you're giving them an honest documentation of what's going on their day.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to pose up stuff that's not really happening.
Yeah. Like I always say to a couple, look, I'm not going to get you your husband or, I'm not going to get him. If he's at the church, he's at the church. If I arrive into the room and he's got his jacket on, it's on him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, listen, can you take your jacket off there again, put it back on? Like I want them to watch back their film and think, I don't remember that. I didn't see that. Not, oh, this is when Emma got me to do X, Y, and Z. This is when I had to do this for the camera.
So you're not going to get them to stand in front of a window.
Hey,
I see this all the time.
Look, can you look out that window? Like, what is he looking at?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for me, it's all about the people.
Yeah.
And when we got married a COVID wedding. But I can tell you, like, I could give two hoots about our photos.
Yes.
All we wanted to see was our friends.
Yeah.
I wanted to see family. I wanted to see my mum.
Yeah.
I wanted to see everyone interacting with each other, moments with people. Like you
wanted to see the on the day, as opposed to looking at yourself.
Yeah, well, me and Sue, we live together all the time. We don't need to look at photos of each other, looking in each other's eyes.
Yeah, I know.
Well, the main focus for us was our friends and our family.
Yes,
and I think sometimes that gets lost.
Yeah,
with a lot of films these days because it's so couple centric.
Yes,
and sometimes I'm watching somebody else's work and I'm like, where is the wedding?
Okay, I love it.
Where is the wedding? Where are the people?
Yeah.
Where are all these people that are here celebrating with the couple? Bring them into it.
So, Emma, can I tell you, right? So just from my experience and people, I mean, I obviously work with lots and lots of videographers, and typically they would get the groom over to the window. And I'll shoot it as well because I do want to get some nice portraits of the groom if he's around me on the morning.
Yeah, the light
but
coming
they
in.
will, they will, they'll want movement, so they'll want, and I don't mind getting, like, if the bride has bought the groom cufflinks for a wedding present, I want to get a shot of them. I'd rather get them on him, than, a detailed shot of them or whatever. But I get to see what goes on in terms of videography with the groom, and it's like open the curtain, close the curtain, doing all that kind of stuff. So you don't do any of that.
No. And look, it doesn't mean I don't get those shots because there is a photographer there who's generally doing that.
Yes.
But my preference on the day is to try and get things as natural as possible. Like, for instance, the cufflinks. You know, he's going to have a drink later.
Yes.
His cufflinks will show.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to get that shot.
Yes.
So
To
I always
naturally
think,
get that shot.
yeah, things
Yeah.
will happen throughout the day.
Yeah.
You know, that moment with her dad or that moment with her mum. Like, if you walk into a room and you just miss something,
Yes.
that there will be another moment like that later.
Yeah. No, hold on. I'm going to argue with you here.
Yeah.
When the dad sees his daughter for the first
Well-
time in the dress, sorry, that has to be a shot.
But you can't get them to redo that.
Yeah. You can't.
You know, if
Yeah, you
I
can't.
arrive into the room and that first look has happened with her dad,
Yeah.
then that's something that I've missed.
Yes.
Because-
and do you think that's very important?
On the whole scheme of the day, like, no, I don't think she's going to go, oh my God,
Well, I do.
Emma missed that.
Oh
like,
no, I
10
don't
seconds.
think. No. I actually think that's more of a photo thing, Emma.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's a lot of tears, and they may not want to physically see themselves crying, but it's nice
It's
to
very
get.
emotional sometimes.
It can be very emotional, but it is nice to get like a shot of it or two shots
Yeah.
of it. So I'm really fussy about that.
I know.
I'm really fussy about that, and all my brides are very fussy about that too. They all want that shot, you know. Although every now and again you'll get a dad going, "Am I meant to cry here?" I think.
Well, sometimes, you know,
hilarious.
it doesn't go as planned.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's happened a couple of times, and you're kind of like, oh, I don't know if I'll keep this in or not.
Yeah. Okay.
But look, there's no right or wrong way to film a day.
Yes.
You know, everyone has their own style. Everyone has their own distinct style. I'm not saying our way is right or somebody else's way is right or wrong.
Yeah.
Couples will know generally what they're getting by the person they've booked. They can tell.
course.
You can tell by looking at films if it's been a bit more, if there's a bit more direction
Yes.
than a bit more flow,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say, in ours. And some couples like that.
Yeah.
They're
And when you take
growing up-
direction,
Well, I take direction.
like if they say, "Would you make sure to get this?" or "Would you get that?"
Well, that's different. Like, I
Yeah.
would have a questionnaire that I send out,
Mhm.
which is, you know, tell me a bit about your day. You know, so I, in my eyes, have an idea of what's happening throughout their day
Brilliant.
from start to finish, even down to, you know, especially in the ceremony. Sometimes they have brothers singing, family singing, friends singing. That's always really important.
Yeah.
Make sure we capture all of that. You know, there's a speech going on in the middle of the drinks reception. These are things that
You need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so the day is mapped out by chatting with them.
Yes.
And they might say, do you know what? I have a locket. My mum is on my bouquet.
Yeah.
Can you capture that? But for me, I'm capturing that maybe as she's walking. You know,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
I'm not going up to her and going, hey, can I have this?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a natural kind
Yeah.
of thing that I will capture throughout the day. But yeah, I will always ask and find out because each wedding is different.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Yeah.
no kind of shot list in my head
Yeah.
that I have to get.
Okay.
But it's just, it is a case of, it's nice to know everything that's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Timings and everything. I mean, the timings crack me up, you know, from a wedding day. So the band's starting at 8 and I just start laughing.
No, that doesn't ever happen. No. But the timings in the morning are essential so that you can be on time for the church.
Yeah. But look, no matter how, like I always go through the timings with my couples
Yeah.
and there's always a revelation at the end of it when they're like, wow, it's totally different to what we thought.
Yeah.
You know, the morning especially, I would love to be there and I'm kind of changing it more where I'm saying, do you know what, I'm just going to get to the church 20 minutes beforehand now.
Yeah.
And that gives me 10 minutes to set up and then 10 minutes of maybe capturing some people.
Yeah.
Because you end up missing stuff in the house.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah,
makeup's not
yeah,
ready, hair,
yeah.
you know, she's not ready to go yet or not getting into her
Yeah.
dress.
Yeah.
And then there's stress on their side. And you're
Yeah.
like, look, you have to
Yeah.
go with the flow. Timings, it's always great to have them written down, but very rarely. Although when you're there,
I'm sorry. I'm
When you're
I'm
there-
looking at you going, no, that does not happen with me.
when you're there, the timings are
Yeah.
they actually quite stick to them because
Yeah.
you're really good at keeping them
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. Well, do you
know?
know why that is? Because I would always have a Zoom call 2 weeks before the wedding. And we talk about everything that happens on the day from the
Yeah.
time I arrive till the time I leave and what they can expect. And my main aim, obviously, on the day is to get beautiful imagery, which thankfully I always do. But after that is to make sure that they get time at their drinks reception.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen if they're late walking up the aisle.
No.
So I would say that to them. And at the end of the call, I go, right, okay, now we're going to talk about timings because this is actually essential.
It is, yeah.
And I talk about what time I have to leave my bride to go to the church. And before I leave you, this is what I want to get before I leave. So in order for me to be able to get all of that, you need to be in your dress at this point. And if you're not in your dress, I'm going to actually miss your dad seeing you for the first time in your dress. And she'd be like, ah!
But you know, Jenny, that doesn't always happen. Like, remember we had a wedding together one Christmas-y time?
Yes, well, that was because of the makeup artist, Emma.
And
would you not agree, Emma?
yes, I would. Yeah.
She was 45 minutes late walking up the aisle.
Yeah.
So, you know, if the makeup artist had been on time, that never would have happened. So I can't control people when they're late.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like usually something has happened in the morning. Somebody is late. And that has a knock-on effect.
Yeah.
And I would say the same. I go, look, the later you are for your ceremony, the more you're missing out.
And what an absolute shame, by the way, in that day. Like, what a venue we had. I was fuming. Like, nobody would have known except you. I was fuming. But I'm thinking, look at all these spectacular shots. Because when we got back to the venue then, that beautiful area where I wanted to have photographs taken, the guests were there and I couldn't get them.
Yeah.
So, you know, you just have to make sure that you give those times to the people who are going to be around you on the morning and that they all know that the bride wants to be on time for the church. She does not want to be walking up the aisle 45 minutes late. And at that time of the year, at Christmas time, the light's gone at 3 o'clock.
Disaster.
You know?
I think it happens more often than not, though.
Yeah.
I still think.
Yeah, it does.
Unless
you have Jenny McCarthy.
Unless you're Jenny. My weddings are usually like, it's a good 25 minutes always.
Yeah.
Very rarely on time.
Well, I've written those times in my book that's coming out very soon.
The times are there. When I go through the whole day with them and it's like, this.
I insist on it though, Emma. Like in a really good way, in a very positive way. But I would also explain to them why I'm insisting on it. So when I get to the house on the morning, and I actually get there probably an hour before I'm due to get there, and I instantly know when I walk in if we're running behind. So then if I feel we're running behind, I quicken things up. I just have a chat with everyone and go, guys, are you already going to be ready? So then,
hurry up.
Then I would sort of say, well, the bride can never be late sitting in the makeup chair. I always suggest that she's not last to get her makeup done because if she was, and on that day that you're talking about there last Christmas, the bride was last to have her makeup done. So that was disastrous. Disastrous.
Good. Not good.
Don't ever sit into the chair last.
No. So timings are.
Yeah, they're essential. So in terms of the speeches then and the ceremony, I think the ceremony is really important. And so are the speeches. What way do you do that? Like, do you include all the speeches? Or what do you,
I find it hard to edit the speeches because
who do you take out?
I don't know if that's a really important part or not. Now, I mean, you know what the speeches can be like sometimes, Jenny.
Jesus.
I've had some
can we please
brides
talk
ring
about
me
the
and
speeches?
say, please do not include the best man speech.
Yeah.
Please do not include this because it was just...
Why do they go on so long? So let's talk about how long this should be, Emma. Come on.
I think half an hour maximum.
So
max.
Like if you've got, it's generally 4 people speaking. I mean, it can be more. I had 5 the other night. I had 8, by the way, at a wedding. Now that's, please don't have 8.
No,
There's
don't
no
have
need
8. Or have 8 and they're all 2 minutes. Fine.
Yeah. But I like, if you've got 4 people speaking, it's generally, if the dad of the bride is around.
Yeah.
So it's the father of the groom. It is the groom. It is father the groom, father the bride, or vice versa.
Best man
and the groom. So it's 30 minutes is plenty.
30 minutes is plenty. Like
because
less is more.
Bored.
Like my own sisters, we were an hour and 50 minutes. People were throwing scrunched up paper at the top table, telling them to shut up.
An hour and 50 minutes.
An hour and 50 minutes in Ratsala.
What were they talking about?
Oh, like they all spoke. You know, her husband spoke, best man spoke. He had 4 brothers. They all spoke. Then his dad spoke. Then my dad spoke, and we were like, come on, lads,
seriously,
sit down. So
we're exhausted.
But I've
nobody can go for a pee.
But people were going up. People were booing. People were booing. Would you sit down? Like my longest was 2 hours 20 minutes. I mean, I left at 10 to 1. Speeches were unbelievable.
2 hours 20 minutes.
Yeah. And the bride spoke, and she was 45 minutes.
Oh my God.
It was, and that was the
So
start of it.
in terms of getting up to do a speech, a father of the bride, I mean, he definitely has to cover certain things, but he doesn't have to read out our entire CV.
No, he doesn't have to start in first class and
No.
walk his way through primary school and
not
secondary
everybody
school.
needs to know that. They're his lovely memories that he has in his mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what should he talk about?
I just think, 10 minutes, like one or two lovely stories about her.
Yeah.
Something that he's proud of. Where, I'm sure it's hard for a dad to nail it down.
Yeah, but you have to.
You kind of have to for the speeches, or else people are just sitting there. And I think the trend is getting longer. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
My average speeches are an hour.
Oh my God.
I mean, and that's like over the past few years. It's like I just expect an hour, and if it's shorter, it's like it is.
I just think 40 minutes. I know you're saying half an hour wouldn't it be nice, but I think 40 minutes is
10
plenty.
minutes each.
It is plenty of time. And when to do them? When's your favourite time?
I kind of like. You see, there's two, like for my own wedding or for filming.
Filming.
So for filming, I kind of like them beforehand.
Yeah. I
always feel they're shorter beforehand. People have had a few more drinks after dinner.
Yes.
A bit looser. Not as the shyness has gone a bit. Speeches tend to go on a little bit longer. In saying that, I kind of like them afterwards as well. Everyone has eaten,
Yeah.
So my preference would be after the starter. People have had a little bit of food.
After the starter?
Yeah, go into them and then have it. And then you just sit down and finish.
And what about you going and having a bit of grub then? You're not kind of going, I'm starving?
I don't mind after the starters.
Okay.
Then you still have like 2 hours nearly.
Okay. Yeah.
To sit
before
down.
they dance.
Yeah, before something else. Or, singing waiters come in, or, some magician comes in, or somebody else comes in.
Yeah. Well, God, and do you like it when the singing waiter comes in? No.
Jumping for joy out of my chair.
Oh my God almighty.
Do you know what? It's a bit of fun because you can get some gold footage at that part of the night.
Yes.
When they come in. Like I would never film it all.
Yeah.
You're just going in and grabbing
bits and pieces. Yeah.
Bits and pieces there.
Yeah.
Can be a bit of crack.
Have you got a favourite part of a wedding day, Emma?
That's a tough question. Actually, I love the dancing. It's my favourite part.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how long do you stay for? Here's the number one question. How long should you stay for?
Well, I used to have a contract that says I stay until around 10. I generally am at a wedding until 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Now, dancing wise, it's a big part of our edit. Our edits are quite fun and upbeat.
Yeah.
They're fast. Dancing makes up a good portion of it. So I will generally stay now until I feel I've got enough.
Yeah.
So it could be 45 minutes.
Okay. So many dances is that then?
I don't know, 10.
Yeah.
I think I always gauge it by spring break because once they've done the limbo, that's kind of time for me to go.
So Spring Break are a band who are amazing. They are actually really good, aren't
brilliant.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once the limbo comes out, then it's time for me to go.
Yeah.
Or if I'm doing a country wedding, once the waltzing starts,
oh God,
I'm out of there.
Oh Jesus, I nearly got a whiplash one night. I'm terrified, absolutely terrified. Sometimes I've been on the dance floor. Do you know I was on a dance floor one night, and I'm not kidding. So obviously you have the camera right up to your face, and they were doing that, some sort of a fast dance. It might have been that dance. And an elbow hit my camera, and I was cut. I was bleeding on my head.
Jesus.
So I was like, "Oh Jesus, I am never doing that again." Listen, that's dangerous.
There are loads. Like weddings can be dangerous. I've had a few close calls now. Like, I mean, I can count them on my hand. I was walking backwards coming down the church, and knocked into the candelabra. Candles all over me.
Shut up.
Just missed the bride and groom.
Oh my God. Did you wax all over?
Saved the camera. I was working in Kilshane House.
Oh my God.
Arrived at Kilshane and Jane said, come with me. She took off my clothes, ironed all the wax off it.
Oh my God.
And sent me on my way. Like things happen. You just I had to keep going. I mean, you can't stop.
Yeah.
Somebody picked up the candelabra and the bride and groom kept going, and it was like keep working.
What else?
And you just have to do that. The same in somebody had a few too many, and they knocked over my second camera onto a candle, went crashing down in the middle of the speeches. That was fun.
Did it break?
No, a lot of candle wax all over the body, but it but it was fine.
Yeah.
And then I was in Ballyfin in October. It was raining. When I'm shooting, I like to get different angles of the same shot, you know,
Yes.
so I can make my sequence.
Yeah, of course.
So instead of just having, you know, one shot here, so it was the bridal party. So I was kind of shooting here, shooting there. Then I ran over here onto the grass.
Oh no.
Literally, I nearly did a somersault
Oh no.
in the air.
Oh my God.
I landed with my camera in the air.
Oh my God, Emma.
And the whole back of me was mud from head
Stop.
to toe. And we were walking in to start the speeches. I was like, I can't go in like this. I had to take my jacket off, turn it inside out, wrap it around my waist. I mean, I looked...
Oh my God.
But sure, what can you do?
Nothing. I mean, listen,
you just have to go with it.
I've had stuff happen to me there recently. I was doing a wedding and I'll never forget it. And I was walking, you know, when the bride and groom come up the aisle.
Yeah.
And I was sort of down, you know, sometimes I'm kind of standing up on the altar to have a bit of height, but I was sort of down on the ground. And then I walked backwards and I'd forgotten that the step was there. And I fell backwards as her dad was handing her over onto my back. Now I really hurt my back. Onto my back. And it was marble. So like the smack of my head on the marble. But I had to keep shooting. So I'm shooting on my back. I'm lying on my back.
In the church.
And shooting the dad handing her over. And I got up, I was pretending everything was fine. I could see the groom looking at me and I was thinking, stop looking at me.
Everything's fine.
And I was pretending everything was fine. I was pretending I didn't fall at all. I don't know what you're all looking at. I didn't fall at all. I was mortified, but I really hurt myself.
Yeah, it's sore.
You know, and the videographer said to me afterwards, that sounded like such a crack. I said, that was my head on the back of the fucking marble floor only recently. So stuff happens.
Stuff happens.
Yeah,
and you just
happens.
have
And nobody has any clue how dangerous it can be.
I know. So I just hide behind my camera. I'm like, nobody can see me because I'm looking through my lens.
Oh, don't look at me.
Don't look at me. Everything is fine, okay?
You're in Ballyfin. Like if there's ever a 7-star place, this is it. And you look like you're rolling around the muck outside.
I lit like my hair. Because it had been raining all day, we had a break in the weather for 5 minutes. So we went out the back. So when I say it was like going down a slide.
Oh my God, Emma, I can only
And
imagine.
the bridal party are looking at me and I'm like lying in the ground with my camera up. Don't worry, everything is fine.
It's just a stunt.
It's part of the business. And it was just, we went in, at least the lights were down a little bit. I was like, thank God.
Oh,
you can see people looking at you because you're like.
And you do feel sorry for yourself then, don't you? You're like, this is shit. This is shit.
They were really nice. They kind of brought me after the speech. So I was like, I need to get some clothes on.
Emma.
Anyway, sure, look.
Oh my God. So I think I need to bring like a second change when I'm photographing babies in the studio because they puke all over me. Sometimes you need a second change.
I normally have one. I normally have like something in the back just in case.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you need like a second something.
Just in case you fall.
Yeah. Like a pair of trousers or even just a t-shirt, something that will just... So I didn't have one that day and it didn't save me.
Oh my God. And Emma, how far will you go for a wedding? Like how far will you travel? In Ireland now. I know you.
I do travel.
Abroad, but it depends.
I don't really travel abroad. It's too much work.
It is too much work.
It sounds great.
Yeah.
It sounds great. Or I'm going to France but in the grand scheme of things, you haven't a clue where you're going. You don't know where it is. You're dry. Like it can be a bit of a. It looks great on the portfolio, but
bringing your gear through Dublin Airport is a nightmare.
No, and then trying to fly a drone over there, everything. It's not for me. But I will travel in Ireland.
What do you mean trying to do the drone? Would you get into trouble or do you need a license or what's the crack?
I don't. You see, you don't really know the logistics over there, and you'd probably just go, ask for forgiveness rather than
end up in jail.
Trying to figure out what's happening. So, and like I'm too, kids now and everything. Going abroad.
It's not for you.
No.
But in Ireland. So in Ireland, where's your studio based? Where are you based, and how far will you travel?
I'm in Greystones. And I still do travel around the country. I try to keep it within 2 hours. I was saying to you earlier on, I'm going to Kerry on Thursday, which is 4.5 hours away. But I'm kind of looking forward to it because I'm just getting back into work. January, February, March can be quiet.
Yeah.
And I remember they got in contact and they really loved our work and they were really excited. And I kind of thought, they're a lovely couple.
Yeah.
I'll make a weekend of it.
Brilliant.
And go down to Kerry. So I'm heading down there. But in general, 2 hours is kind of what I like.
Okay.
I do a lot of back-to-backs, 2, 3, 4 days
Yeah.
in the summer.
Yeah.
You know, when you're leaving your house at 9 and you're coming home at 1 or 2 and you're backing up your stuff and then you're getting up at 9 and you know.
Yeah.
So
They're long days.
they are long days.
Yeah.
Like,
How do you manage your work-life balance then, Emma?
I have a team. I have a good team.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how the guys do it on their own. You know, they're shooting and they're editing and you know, they're doing everything themselves.
Yeah.
I did that till 2013. I was shooting 70 weddings, editing 70 weddings, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need help.
Yeah.
And I found a guy called Alan. He answered one of my ads, and he's actually a really good friend of mine now. He's still with the company. Like, we were in South Sudan there together a year and a half ago. He came with me for that project, and he's been brilliant. And then through Alan, we brought in another couple of editors. So I've 3 editors that work
Brilliant.
on our films.
Okay.
I couldn't do both anymore. It's too.
No, it's too much. And you wouldn't see your children or your
I
wife.
wouldn't see the kids, or I wouldn't see anyone. My wife, my kids, they'd hate me.
They'd hate you.
Like I see the kids all the time. I'm there when they come home from school.
Oh.
Like, they're obviously in the summer. There's 70 weddings going on, so you're gone for 70 days. But it's 70 days.
And what age are the kids?
They're 7. And
So you have, tell everybody, you have 3.
we've 3 kids,
And
they're all the same age.
And they're triplets.
They're triplets.
Oh my God almighty.
Oh, I know.
Triplets.
Sometimes I still think, how
Jesus,
do we have triplets?
how do you manage triplets?
How did we do it? How did we do it, Jenny? I don't know.
Yeah.
The first 5 years are a definite blur
Yeah.
because it was my busiest, kind of 2015 to 2019
Yeah.
were my busiest.
Mental busy.
For like, COVID last year was obviously mental last year, but that was for
Yeah.
everyone.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember the kids coming out of hospital and I was thinking, would they not just keep them in the NICU for another couple of weeks? Because I had 10 weddings coming up. So,
Oh my word.
they're obviously, well, they were kind of born to term because they were 34 weeks. So they actually were term, but they were in the NICU for 12 days.
Yeah.
So they were born on the 30th of November. When they were born, we were all delighted and everything. I was thinking maybe they might be in here for 4 weeks. And I'll get through December. I'll get through December and they'll still be in hospital because obviously they get taken, the great care in there.
Yes.
They were amazing.
They come out nearly running, don't they?
They literally, because they get them on the schedule for
they
you.
do, they do.
But when they came out of hospital, I had 10 weddings to shoot. I mean, it was really tough.
Jesus,
Now,
Emma.
and I had 5 in a row Christmas week from the 27th.
And you had
onwards.
3 brand new babies.
We had 3 brand new babies at home, and there was just no sleep. I remember coming home, and it was literally 3 hours sleep back to work, 3 hours sleep back to work.
Oh my God, how could you even tell who the bride was?
It was, yeah, God, it's difficult. I can't really
Yeah.
remember it.
Yeah, I know.
You just get our bodies are amazing.
I
You just
know.
get through things.
It is a tough gig though when you have smallies at home, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
You know,
it
because
is.
the lack for us. I mean, they were being fed every 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We didn't feed them all together.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
we had them in that routine.
Yeah.
I remember after 6 months, we got it down to we were feeding 2 at one time and then 1 afterwards. We were like, God, we've just got an hour back. This is amazing.
God.
So it was like 7, 11, 3, 7, 11, 3, 7, 11. And it was like that
Oh
for
my God.
months and months and months and months and months and months. And you just have to marry that with work.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you work for yourself, there's no...
Yeah. Well, that's what it is like,
You
isn't
just
it?
get on with it.
Yeah.
I did get really sick at one wedding. I wonder, can I say it now?
Yeah, you can. Don't start something and don't continue it.
I was working with Dave McClelland and we were shooting a makeup artist's wedding.
Yeah.
Karen. Hi, Karen, if you're listening.
Hi, Karen. I don't know which Karen, but go on.
Karen Marr.
Oh, Karen.
And it was her wedding. I was so sick. This is pre-COVID. You just didn't miss a wedding.
No, God, no.
You just didn't miss one.
Unless you have a brain
Unless
tumor.
Unless you were
brain tumour,
unless
Emma.
you have a brain tumor.
Yeah.
Unless you're dying or have a brain tumor.
And even still they give out about it, but go on.
I was so sick. It was February, so the kids were only 10 weeks old. I was just dying. And I said, look, I have to go to the wedding. I can't not go.
Yeah.
And I remember in Karen's house in the morning, Dave was shooting some details or something, and I went in, he went out, and I just sat in the bed. on Karen's bed.
Yeah.
And I lay down. I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
I actually can't continue.
And when you say you were sick, vomity sick?
I'd say I was just exhaustion, sick. I felt like I was going to get sick. My head,
God,
temperature. Anyway, after about like literally, I'd say 2 minutes, I was like, I need to get up.
Yeah.
I need to get up.
I better not go for sleep on the bride's bed.
I better get up out of here and get up. And I got up, and you know what? Once the day kicks off,
Yeah.
the adrenaline kicks in, and you're kind of...
You forget about everything else.
You do. You're just kind of in the moment. And you know what? Karen loved her video.
Thank God. She was puking into the other side of it, Karen.
And it turned out brilliant, and we got great footage. But it just... After that, I was like, I can't do that again.
Yeah.
There has to be ways of
yes,
getting some help on a wedding without couples feeling that you've let them down.
Yeah.
You know, the kind of way. Because it's just, you could never really do it.
Yeah.
And because it was so secretive still back then, you couldn't get somebody to help you.
Isn't that shocking that it was so secretive back then?
Yeah.
Jesus. Like, where's kind of you help me, I help you? I never got that.
It wasn't there. You know,
why? Was it an insecure thing with people? I just never got that.
They didn't want to pass over their work to somebody else to see it. I don't know. It was like trade secrets about how people shot weddings.
That's so mean, though.
You know,
it is. Do you not think that's mean?
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's changed a lot.
Everyone.
It has changed a lot. I mean, it's completely changed.
I don't know how much experience I give to people. I have people coming in, you know, and like somebody texted me yesterday wanting to know they're shooting their first wedding. I'm going to tell them everything I know.
And help them out.
Yeah. Like, do you have 2 days for this, you know?
I know. And
tell me, any drunken brides, have you ever come across any drunken brides?
Oh, Jenny.
Oh, did you?
Can we talk about this? Are any of my brides listening?
Oh,
switch
my
off.
God.
Oh.
Go on.
Well, look, my advice to all anyone getting married is
don't drink.
Don't drink before just don't. Even on our wedding day,
don't drink when?
Before the ceremony.
Oh God! Well, you can have 1 glass of prosecco.
You know what? I'm like, what's the point? You know, like at our photo at our wedding, I said, so you know what? I'm not going to drink until later on. We had our first glass of champagne outside the Shelburne, and it was so nice.
Okay, so when you were going into the Shelburne,
because we were staying there, and they brought us in and they gave us a glass of champagne, and it was so nice. I think there's a lot of pressure
to have a drink.
You know,
I like a glass of prosecco. No.
I know. Like I remember leaving the wedding in the morning, and they were on their second bottle of champagne, and there was only two. There's only bride, her sister, and the mum.
Oh, that's too much,
right?
Then.
So I was leaving to go to the church, and I said, "Please, don't drink. Don't have any more.
Don't be drinking the champagne.
Don't have any more." And I closed the door, and I could hear pop.
Oh,
it's like okay. And this was a very, this was a very high-end wedding. A lot of money was spent on the wedding, and she had to go to bed at 5 o'clock.
Oh my God! In the evening, go to bed.
Yeah, take her dress off. Everything, lots of coffee.
Did she keep drinking?
She was
locked.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, I'd say she probably doesn't remember the ceremony much. Now, only because we knew, like most guests wouldn't have known. But back at the reception, she was like,
I couldn't speak.
Yeah. So she went to bed for 2.5 hours. And everything was delayed, and people were wondering what the problem was. But everyone was moving from one place to the next because they had like set up this huge barn for the evening part.
Sure.
So they had said, you know, there was a couple of planners involved that, you know, there was an issue with the barn, and everyone would be moving soon. So they had a bit longer at the drinks reception. But fair play to her. She got back up and into her dress and coffee, and like when I was leaving at 12 o'clock, she was grand.
Oh my God! I know that's not right. Yeah,
but
okay.
And I've had, like, there has been a few now with grooms and just...
Yeah. I did have one very drunk groom before the ceremony.
It's not good.
I ate him. Like, I don't eat anyone. I gave out to him. I said, you know, like,
what are you doing?
You're pissed. Like, hop on. He was just like, it wasn't even that. I don't mind them if they have a couple of drinks. That's fine. If they need a bit of Dutch courage. But this guy was locked.
I've had a couple of,
Do you know, and it was just messy, and the shirt hanging out, and again, lots and lots of money, but just hop on. Do you know?
I know. I just think there's loads of I've seen it in the morning, and I've seen a bride going, I don't want anything. And
Yeah,
the bridesmaid's
okay.
going, go on, have one. She's like, I don't want one.
I suppose I do like the bit of crack and the bit of Prosecco going, but I do get it. To be honest with you, I'd probably get a headache if I had a glass of champagne at 11 o'clock in the morning anyway. So you're probably right.
You haven't eaten
a glass
and
of
the
champagne.
adrenaline and everything.
Yeah.
Like one is like, it's like two or, you know.
Yeah. A glass of champagne going into the Shelburne after
was
getting
lovely.
married. That was lovely.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was really nice.
So Emma, we are chatting now for a long time. Have you
Get
any
out.
more tips to give my couples?
Wow.
Don't drink.
Don't drink before your wedding.
Don't get
Look,
locked.
my advice always is just go and enjoy your day. I think couples sometimes get so caught up in the
Yes.
planning, and you know, maybe there's some family stuff going on behind in the
Yes.
background, or there's just other things going on, and you kind of forget, you know what, we're here because we love each other,
Yes.
and we're bringing all these people together to celebrate with us, and let's celebrate with them.
Absolutely.
You know, let's not, you know, be gone for an hour. Like, why are you driving an hour away to get your photos?
Yeah, I don't get that either.
You know,
Yeah.
come back to the people who are here for your
Yes.
wedding. They don't want to see you at 5:30.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
want to see you at 4:00.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
So an hour for the photos and the videography is plenty in my mind.
That's even too much.
Well,
for
do you
me.
know what? 45 minutes is what I would say.
Yeah.
Do you know, because you do have to get your family photos, your bridal party and your coupley shots. But you need to make sure everybody is there. So, you know,
Yeah.
you need to be a bit more organised in terms of telling people
Yeah.
where to be, you know?
I would just enjoy it, be real. It's like, it's your day,
Yes.
and you've spent all this time planning it, and you
Yeah.
want to be part of it.
And I suppose trust the suppliers that you have booked to do
Yeah.
their job on the day.
Yeah.
Emma, if people
Wow.
want to get in touch with you, how do they do it?
Give me a ring.
Uh,
I'm not going to give you my number.
okay.
Very good.
But edit
Head to
House.
Edit House, our website, edithouse.ie. Most of our couples will find us on Instagram at Edit House Dublin. That's where you'll see most of our work.
Yes.
And yeah, shoot me an email. Google Meet, always a great way to
Yeah.
meet our couples and have the chats. Yeah, that's it.
And you'll chat to them then
And I'll chat to them then. And hopefully see you all
very soon.
very soon.
Thank you, Emma.
Thank you, Jenny.
That was
Is that
amazing. I really enjoyed every second of that.
That is it?
That's it. That was 45 minutes.
Wow. So listen, if this isn't published, you'll know it was a load of tosh.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you, Jenny.